The World Cup brings together the best national teams and players from across the globe, encourages interaction between different cultures, aims to create long-term legacies, and occasionally creates a huge upset on the pitch. The 1966 tournament in England was the high point in English football and made household names of Geoff Hurst and Bobby Moore. Yet in the northeast town of Middlesbrough, a bunch of mystery men from controversial qualifiers North Korea became equally renowned. Of those mystery men, none was more renowned than Pak Doo Ik, whose goal against football giants Italy brought about the greatest shock in World Cup history. His strike at Middlesbrough's Ayresome Park stadium sent the Azzurri tumbling out of the tournament, secured the Asian minnows a quarter-final berth, and cemented a friendship between North Korea's footballers and the local football faithful that has endured into the 21st century against a backdrop of challenging diplomatic relations and international political fallout. The North Koreans' victory that stunned the football world was all the more remarkable given their unorthodox route to the finals in England. For the 1966 tournament, FIFA allocated only one qualification place to all nations from the Africa, Asia and Oceania associations. The Confederation of African Football, also riled at FIFA's placing of the pariah state South Africa in Asian qualification due to the political sensitivities in the continent, boycotted the tournament. Withdrawal by South Korea as a result of logistics, concerns that participation by their footballers in the qualifiers would prohibit the individual players from competing in the 1968 Olympic Games, or more cynically, in fear of defeat by their northern neighbours, meant that it was left to Australia and North Korea to contest the sole qualification spot. The two-legged playoff held in neutral Cambodia brought about a 9-2 aggregate win for the Asian minnows, including a stunning 6-1 win in the opening encounter. The Koreans' victory, just over a decade after the Korean War, posed a diplomatic headache for a UK government that did not recognise the Democratic People's Republic of Korea. As revealed by the research of Professor Martin Polly, the Foreign Office were in fact exploring options to prevent the Koreans from participating in the World Cup. In their groundbreaking Foundations of Managing Sporting Events, organising the 1966 FIFA World Cup, business historians Dr. Alex Gillett and Dr. Kevin Tennant have described North Korea's qualification as having made interaction between football and international diplomacy unavoidable. Ultimately, this interaction brought compromise, including an agreement to refer to DPRK as North Korea, and even excluding the flag from a commemorative World Cup stamp. In Middlesbrough, the prospect of seeing the North Koreans, who were drawn to play all their Group 4 games at the town's Ayresome Park, generated little enthusiasm locally, an apathy evident in the stadium attracting the lowest attendances of the tournament. Yet there was a curiosity about the Koreans on Teesside, with early signs of bonds between the new home team and locals evident in young supporters' attendance at their training sessions and the local press chronicling the Koreans' tournament preparations. Even Alderman Jack Boothby, Mayor of Middlesbrough, promised the Koreans support, declaring that, "You wear the same colours as Middlesbrough, we will shout for you." In the opening match at Ayresome Park, those who did turn out witnessed echoes of the recently relegated Middlesbrough. The new home team suffered a 3-0 defeat to the USSR and were bullied by some of their more physical opponents. North Korea's prospects of progression, or even recording any points, looked even more bleak in their next match, as they fell behind to an early Chilean penalty, a goal greeted with silence from the Borough faithful. However, only minutes from elimination, the Koreans sent the crowd into raptures with a late equaliser from Pak Seung-sin. In the local newspaper, the Evening Gazette's journalist Cliff Mitchell captured the emotions of that moment. When the equaliser came, some electric strip lighting in the press refreshment room up in the stand at Ayresome Park was brought down by the stamping of a crowd that has well and truly adopted the Asians. The Koreans, obviously heartened by the fact that they were cheered every time they were on the ball, attacked with tremendous enthusiasm. North Korea were given little hope in their final group match against Italy, one of the pre-tournament favourites and a World Cup force. But this did not deter the majority of the Middlesbrough crowd, who drowned out the noise of some 3,000 Italian supporters at Ayresome Park. In the days before substitutions at the World Cup, Italy were reduced to 10 men due to an injury, and the North Koreans took full advantage in the minutes before half-time with a Pak Doo Ik strike. Despite an Italian onslaught, the underdogs held on. The final whistle was greeted with uproar, And BBC commentator Frank Boff exclaimed, "This stadium has never had support like this for years and years." The North Koreans declared, "Our success is due to the support given by the citizens of Middlesbrough, and because our players fought for the fatherland." The Soviets' defeat of Chile the following night confirmed the Koreans' progress, and 3,000 Borough fans headed to Ayresome Park to support their new heroes. The Koreans took a 3-0 lead over Eusebio's Portugal in the quarter-final before eventually going out 5-3, bringing to an end the first chapter of the Middlesbrough-North Korean love affair. And the connection was in hiatus until the early 21st century, when the Game of Their Lives documentary by Dan Gordon and Nick Bonner, which explained the story of 1966, reignited the Borough Pyongyang flame. Filmed in late 2001 after the North Korean government granted unprecedented interview access to former players and permissions to film in North Korea, the rediscovery of the international connection led to Gordon and Bonner pursuing proposals to bring the then North Korean heroes back to Teesside. The idea gained the support of leading figures, including local MP Frank Cook, the ambassador of the Republic of South Korea, and Middlesbrough FC chairman Steve Gibson, who told Gordon, "The story of the North Koreans' heroics in the 1966 World Cup is the stuff of legends up here in Middlesbrough. They are still warmly remembered, and I'm thrilled that through your programme, their remarkable tale will now reach a wider audience. Please pass on our best wishes to the players and the people that you will meet on your trip." Supported by financial and in-kind backing from numerous quarters, including Middlesbrough Council and Middlesbrough FC, the 1966 World Cup heroes made a glorious return to Teesside in October 2002. The Game of Their Lives was screened at the town's cinema, and the town was decorated to mark the occasion. With the North Korean flag flying above Middlesbrough Town Hall, the Speaker of Middlesbrough, Ken Hall, hosted a civic reception for the Koreans, just as Mayor Boothby had done 36 years previously. Whilst there was also a celebration dinner held at the Riverside Stadium, Ayresome Park's successor. At Borough's home game against Leeds United, the Koreans received a hero's welcome on the pitch, and the Middlesbrough fanzine Fly Me to the Moon even produced a DPRK special. Its centrefold featured a letter from the footballers of 1966 to the citizens of Middlesbrough, declaring, "The cheering voices of the citizens of Middlesbrough from 1966 remain fresh still in our memory. We can clearly remember the people of Middlesbrough who'd warmly welcomed us, enthusiastically supported us during our game against Italy, and even followed us up to Liverpool. We are looking forward to seeing you in the stadium with warm and friendly feelings of 36 years ago."